Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. I am trying something different. I'm actually using now the camera that I normally use for my mom and my knitting podcast. I haven't been using it simply because it requires more setup and I don't like messing with the zoom and stuff each time. But anyway, I've got that set up so it's a little bit different. Hopefully you'll find that the quality of the video is a bit better than when I am recording off of my laptop. And just want to note, yes, it has been a while since I have really done much of anything on BookTube. This past month has been a little bit distracted. I went through a good stretch where I was just doing a lot of BookTube videos, and I was responding a lot to other people's booktube videos, and then all of a sudden I just couldn't focus on any of that. But I'm back. I hope to start watching booktube videos again, start getting a little bit more in that community again, and get back to recording more videos. Anyhow, I think that a good way to start off is, I would say, do a wrap up for September, but I've kind of been wrapping up as I go along, doing book reviews as I finish them. So I really don't want to hit upon that again. Instead, I am going to start off with just a really quick review of two books that I finished just within the past couple weeks before September finished. I don't have a whole lot to say about them, but they're the next two books I had to finish in the Anne series for my mom and my reading challenge, where she reads Jane Austen books and I read the rest of the Anne series. Now, I am faster at reading these books than Mom is at reading the Austen books. She enjoyed Northanger Abbey. She did not enjoy quite as much Lady Susan, simply because she did not like Lady Susan as a character. My thing with Lady Susan is that she is so wonderfully awful. So, but she did not enjoy the Lady Susan experience. She is currently reading Sense and Sensibility. She's having a little bit of difficulty with some of the styles. She does not care for Mariana, which I understand. I don't care for Mariana either. But she's slowly making her way through that. I think she got stalled a little bit first due to various things. We had a lot of cooking to do about a week ago because we were having an Italian-themed little dinner party for a couple of friends, and we were cooking basically every day. If you follow me on Bookstagram, Instagram, I do think I have a link on, I'm not sure if it's in my description, but I know if you go to my main channel, you'll see the little icons, and one of them is from my Instagram. I think that's the BookTube Instagram. I should check. Anyway, I did post pictures of the orange cookies that we made, the Italian orange cookies. They're basically thumbprint cookies that have all this orange zest in them and then orange marmalade. They're very, very orange. And then we made Italian S cookies, which, excellent. Perfect for tea and all that kind of jazz. It's just that nice, simple cookie that goes with everything. So that's going to be, and they freeze nicely. So those are going to be repeat cookies. And then we had the main meal, but honestly the highlights were the cookies, in my opinion, at least cooking wise. But that wiped me out for about a week after that because I don't have a lot of energy levels with my POTS, Ehlers-Danlos, and mast cell activation syndrome. Doing that much out of my room time that's very concentrated is very hard on me physically. And then I had time with our friends when they came over. So it took me about a week to recover, which also took away from reading and BookTube stuff. Anyway, back to the my mom and I reading challenge. So I realized I had to slow down in my reading because I'm going to make it through these too quickly. I finished Anne of Avonlea, which I had started a long time ago prior to this read-along, and previously I just could not get into it. I had gotten farther than I remember getting when I did this reread. I was like, oh, okay, I got farther than I thought I had. And even though I probably don't enjoy this as much as I do the original Anne book, I still did very much enjoy Anne of Avonlea. I think it's just one of those things that I wasn't quite ready for Anne to completely grow up yet. And so it was more of a unreasonable annoyance thing. But there are definitely some good characters in here. And it's interesting just seeing them as they grow. Then I finished Anne the Island very quickly, mostly because I became very frustrated with Anne and how she was really self-sabotaging with Gilbert. And I just wanted to shake her half the time because it's like, you're doing this to yourself. Stop it. But Anne's a very human character. I'm glad they worked things out. Some of the things that happened to long-time friends from the first book are surprising, some a bit difficult to handle, not because they were poorly done, but because it was hard to see that particular thing happen to that character. Not going to mention what happened, but I'm thinking of Ruby, and I'm also thinking of, for me, a little bit surprising, some of Jane's behavior. But no, I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the introduction of the character of Phil, who I still think has more personality than two of Anne's friends from Queens, who have followed her through the books thus far, but don't have a whole lot of personality. I'm thinking of, I'm trying to pull their names out of my head. I sometimes have trouble because they're not that interesting. They are, let's see, no, that's Phil. Okay, so it's Stella and Priscilla. Now, Stella and Priscilla were friends that Anne made when she went to Queens in the first book. And they've been in the other two books that I've read since, sometimes briefly, sometimes a little bit more. And I never found that they've had much personality. Hopefully that'll change as the books go on, because I have a feeling that, like Diana and a couple of other Anne's friends, we're going to see these as lifetime friendships. So, yeah, I don't know, those characters, I wish that they made a little bit more of an impact, but I guess that not everybody is like Phil, who's going to jump on the scene and make a huge impact. Some people are just regular, ordinary. Not everyone's an Anne or a Phil. But finished those two books. I did enjoy them. I am currently reading, where did it go? Oh, there it is. I unfortunately wasn't able to get this in the same format as the other one. They do have this style of book, my set, in Anne of Windy Poplars, but for whatever reason, it costs like $30 to get the Anne of Windy Poplars in this format. And I wasn't going to spend as much for the one book as I did for more than I did for the entire set of 6. So unfortunately, my Anne of Windy Poplars is a paperback instead of a book matching the rest of my set, which is sad, but it's fine. I am decent. Ooh, be nice. That bookmark kind of bent my page a little bit. Okay. I'm enjoying this so far. This is when I realized, oh, I'm reading this too fast. When I realized that I have read 3 books going on the 4th book, when my mom has read Northanger Abbey and Lady Susan and is still working her way through Sense and Sensibility. So at that point I realized, oh, I need to slow down and let her catch up a bit. So I am part way through Windy Poplars. I've been there for a while. Windy Poplars, I actually find I enjoy more than I did the last two books. There's some very interesting characters in here. I think that this is probably so far for me maybe second to Anne of Green Gables. Then maybe, well, I'm going to say Anne of the Island and then Anne of Avonlea, because as much as Anne frustrates me in Anne of the Island, there are some really nice memorable characters in here, namely Phil. So, yes, I think that's my rating thus far. Look forward to continuing Windy Poplars, but who knows when that will really occur, just because I need to let my mom catch up with Sense and Sensibility. And we need to go back to discussing it so I know how she's feeling about it. And I do have my version of Sense and Sensibility that I'd started before we did its read-along. This is the annotated edition. Need to continue with that, but no rush. This is a book I've read and reread so many times that I actually think that she might be ahead of me. Yeah, she should be ahead of me in where she's at, which makes sense because she's actively reading it, and I've just kind of been poking my way through this, plus enjoying the annotations. So, hope to continue reading this here and there. But I think that'll be it for this video. Hope that you find that the video quality is better. I've kind of got a makeshift setup just because I don't feel like adjusting my tripod. I've got my tripod just perfect for the way it is in where we knit for the podcast. Now, the obvious suggestion would be, why don't I just go and record where we knit, where we do the knitting podcast? And that might occur at some point, but I'm trying to save on spoons so I have enough energy to actually record a few booktube videos without being completely wiped out afterwards. So hopefully this makeshift setup will work and I don't have to make too many more adjustments. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me for this little Anne review, and I will be back for the next video. God bless. Bye.